Okay. Just one second. All right, I'm good to go live when you are.
Okay. We are live, live on LinkedIn. Hello, Trisha.
Really good to see you. Thank you so much for taking some time out from a trip in Holland. I know how hot it is in Dubai, and it's sort of a much needed break to get away for just a little bit.
Absolutely, absolutely. Anytime for you, girl. It's nice to
Thank you
have
so
my
much.
morning coffee
Yeah,
with you.
good
So,
on you. Yes, I've got mine here as well. I would love to chat with you today, and I think that first of all, we should really say thanks to everyone for all the contributions that you made
it's like we got
to the
Trisha delay.
last. Yeah, we had really great engagement, which was fantastic. So thank you so much to everyone out there who enjoyed the first little edition of this.
Yes, it was amazing. Absolutely
Absolutely.
amazing.
So, Rach, for the next 15 minutes, I would love to chat with you about embracing a growth mindset for personal development. And I guess how can someone unlock their potential?
Well, there's no doubt that there are resources today. I mean, we're living in a phenomenal time, right? We have the internet. The internet has endless resources. So you could potentially learn anything. And what's incredible is that now micro content and micro learning is a huge fad right now. So theoretically, you can find a skill and you can learn, you can change, you can pivot. It's so much easier than it ever was to really find a new route to revenue, right? And it's accessible, right? Platforms like Udemy, platforms like all the other ones that are competitive to them. There's Skillshare. There's so many different ones that can really not only, offer you new improved skills that you need to learn, but also platforms where you can advertise those skills so that you can make money. So you don't even have to leave your house potentially. I mean, I'm visiting my mother-in-law and I just said to her the other day, you want to make some extra money? I'm going to put you on Airbnb and you could start running, tour groups that, she's really good at history and museums and loves museums. I said, you could do it on your own time. You could do it on whenever you want to. And it's now accessible, so the whole ecosystem is already created for you. So it's so simple. Um,
Yeah, awesome. I love it. And I think these days, more than ever, probably people have got two, if not three, income streams. And, having that growth mindset means to be maybe able to be critically thinker or to be able to be critically think outside the box. How can I make some more money, or how can I grow my professional skills and my mindset to be able to not be just conditioned to the paycheck that you receive week by week from your employer?
Absolutely. And not only that, but our last session going live, we basically we spoke about what one of the tips you need to be successful, right? And through that, I think if people start putting that as a foundation, if they're going to need to have information, I shared knowledge, right? That it's something that you need. So those skills and building those skills so you can attain knowledge is really, really important. And having that knowledge then can actually and then how to utilize that knowledge, right, especially on LinkedIn. And I think that's where your knowledge is so irreplaceable, and so maybe you want to share a little bit more. Once they do get those skills, what do they do with it, right? Let's say you need, especially now with AI is killing some of these industries. Let's say you want to be copywriter or so forth, and maybe that's not the skill that you could utilize now. So you change and maybe you decide you want to do some marketing and you want to do digital marketing, for example. What would you do once you attain those skills?
Yeah. I think I guess, and I briefly touched on this before, but I guess it's not going away. So, AI and LinkedIn, in fact, as well, these tools need to be used to be able to support what you've got as a critical thinker, or what you've got as someone who holds a growth mindset, so that you can use them so that you're not left behind. So how can you maximize the tools available to us to prompt them correctly, to make sure that you're telling an emotional story? Because at the end of the day, people want to resonate you with from personal experiences or from something that triggers emotions. And a lot of these AI tools, that's where they lack. So if
Mm.
you can use them to effectively, craft a story that you're willing to be able, that people are willing to read, then you're utilizing those tools. And I think having a growth mindset and embracing failure from your setbacks, or learning from your setbacks from the past when you're integrating or when you're starting to use these tools, is really what you will be needing to be able to then go to the next level above and beyond, and then developing others to have a growth mindset.
So I had a couple thoughts about that, because of it's, nothing's easy. It's so complex, every idea. So, from skills to the results of those skills, to the training that you've received, to accreditation, or awards that you've received, even those personal stories, like a case study, right? I would say it's a personal story, but more importantly, it's a case study that has, a problem, it has work that and skills that someone was able to implement, and it has a solution. So there's some kind of tangible KPIs of measurement to really show that those skills mattered, right? Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is probably something that people forget. They're so focused on maybe the task at hand and not the bigger picture.
That was a train going by, so I had to mute for a second. Or else we're on the train to nowhere. We don't know, but excuse me, I'm getting corrected. It's a tram. But anyway, I'm thinking LinkedIn. We keep on going back to LinkedIn because I mean we're on the platform. We want to use it. We want to tell the listeners how to use it effectively. So once those skills are created, what do you when it comes to the profile, you're the queen of knowing exactly what areas to put where. What would you recommend? Is what people need to really work on increasing so they can elevate that skills, sharing.
Yeah, cool. So a couple of things, and we could even chat on this or divulge deeper in another conversation, or even walk through a couple of things, sharing a screen if you're interested. But the
Yeah,
first step
that's a great idea.
Awesome. The first step that I always, I guess, encourage or really want to make sure that I unpack with my clients or prospective clients, what do you want from the platform? Because I can't go and tell you to optimize the skills section or put in the bio, third person language, or make it colloquial language if you don't know who is the target audience that you're trying to attract to the page. Because you need your profile to be resonating with your target audience. So that's probably the first maybe piece of advice. Are you a job seeker? Are you a business owner? Are you a board member, or trying to be one of those? So therefore, if we get that and the foundations correct, then we can work on the right content, on the right searchability. What are the keywords? Obviously, Google has got a really strong affiliation with LinkedIn. So if you were to Google, the biz advisors, then Rachel would pop up on Google because of that, the high search engine and SEO linked with those two. So you really need to think about who the target audience is, and then work out what are the free phrases, skill sets, the type of language that I'm going to be using.
I think it's definitely worthwhile. One of our sessions will go through the actual profile, because I know on the profile itself, there's just so much that people can elevate what their skills are. There's a whole area called skills, and only 3 of them are visible. Right. And so not only can you control that, right, but then other people that know you can validate that. Right. And the ones that get validated are obviously the ones, professionally, and those become the higher ones. But I think going through that is going to be really effective for people, right?
Yeah,
Um,
if that's what the audience wants, then no worries, right?
we'll get it. Well, if we got any live questions, do feel free to check. Just ask questions while we're going live, so we can address your questions. But just to go back to skills, I think there's a number of questions when you go for an interview specifically, and you'll be familiar with this, that people ask around skills to validate that. Would you have any ideas of what some of those common ones are? I got some in the back of my head, but I figure you're probably prepping people to prepare how they're going to deal with some of these questions that come up in an interview. So like, how would you handle stress or pressure, or, how do you describe yourself? Right. And what are job seekers, or job, people, employers, what are they looking for when they ask these type of questions about your skills?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I guess it comes down to whether you're going for like a situational or a behavioral interview, and the type of questions and profile needs to resonate with actually who you are. So they should be reflective. You can't have, your LinkedIn not actually reflective of who you are in real life.
That's really important. Yeah, no doubt. I do know that, this is a common one. Tell me about yourself, right? And so the persona that you project should, of course, highlight some of the stuff that you've been able to do, right? And so I always say, and I go back to these tangible results, what have you done? What did you do
Absolutely,
for somebody
yeah.
else, right? So having that story.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is another thing. So let's take it back to say Chat GTP or Bard or whatever. There's loads of programs out there. But this is where if you type a generic response to say create me a LinkedIn bio off my resume, or write a LinkedIn bio for my sales manager candidate, if you're doing it across the board for your organization to streamline everyone, it then
Mm,
it then negates the personal um, um, approach or the personal qualities that person can bring to the table. It doesn't showcase what is your USP, your unique selling proposition. And that's where the soft skills come into play, because it's so much easier to be able to teach someone hard skills on the job, physically doing something, versus communicating effectively or efficiently. So these are the sorts of things that, the personalization is so important, especially when you're interviewing or job searching.
wow, that's interesting. I mean, my mind was just going down another rabbit hole of the chat GBT and how to use it for employers looking to hire for positions. I didn't even think about that. That's that's a great tool. I haven't seen that advertised as much, but and then also how the employee can use it for building their even, their descriptions of their capabilities and skills. Would you say is that how they can use it the best way?
Yeah, I'll tell you something. So, and this was probably might be the hot tip of the day, and yeah, feel free to use it for
Ooh,
something.
I wish there was a sound effects I could play. Hot tip of the day. Ding 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 ding. Okay.
So, what you can do is you can download your LinkedIn profile into a PDF. Okay, so you can literally go into the home page, click download, and or literally download into PDF file. If you click the more button on your LinkedIn profile and it says save to PDF,
Right.
and then what you can then do is you can actually copy and paste that entire PDF into ChatGTP and say, what do you, or please optimize, well, you probably don't need to say please, but optimize this LinkedIn profile so it's better suited for a sales director or for a sales manager. And it will then
Okay.
analyze your LinkedIn profile in the PDF format and produce its points summarized, and then you can say rewrite it based off these improvements. And then you can go in and copy and paste that content that ChatGPT is giving you, or Bard or whatever program you're using, into your live uh, um, LinkedIn profile.
Wow.
So it's really effective if you know how to use these AI tools. You can say use keywords from the top 10 or top 20 job adverts out there, or copy and paste the job descriptions and say write it so that the bio or the LinkedIn profile, the skills are reflective to apply for this job. Now, it's time consuming, but this is how you can maximize it so that the wording and phrasing is as best possible, shining as bestly as possible.
Wow. And obviously highlighting your skills in the best way possible, right? And that's where your strengths come in, which what, job seekers are looking to find, whether they're meeting you one on one, whether they're looking on LinkedIn, because that's what the platform they're all looking to find you. And even customers looking for certain people with certain skills, right? And going vice versa as well. It works in both different directions. Well, that's a hot tip of the day. I think we're going to have to look at that chat GPT to put some more tips in, because people need to know how to use it effectively, and writing and asking for the right prompts is really key. So that's an awesome content for your page for sure. Thanks so much, Trisha.
You are
Anything else
welcome.
you add about this topic today?
No worries. I think we can leave it at that. I think that's quite valid, and of course, I'd be happy to run next session if you're interested, or if people want this, then I can do a live session and show how or what you could do, or I could put a recording so that then they can access that recording and download it at their own accord.
Yeah, that's cool too. We got the present button here. So if you want to go through it on your page, that's always good. I think it's going to be a great idea to take people through. So let us know if going through your profile on LinkedIn is going to be helpful to you, because I think, where your skills are highlighted are really important. How you present those skills in an effective way are really important. And we're here to show you how to do it. Thank you, Trisha. That's Rachel and Trisha.
Bye bye. Adios,
We'll see you
amigos.
next week. Adios.
Bye.
Bye bye.